The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Let's get it. Here's your top 5 at 6. No time to wait. Last night, the NFL season kicked off. The Kansas City Chiefs going for the three-peat this season. Never been done in NFL history. No one's ever won 3 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Big win at home, as much as a Week 1 win can be a big win over the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, to everybody but the ref at the back of the end zone, thought they had put themselves in a position to win the game. With no time on the clock, Lamar Jackson has a throw to the end zone. It sounded like this.
Down to one play, 5 seconds to go. Lamar trying to make magic happen. Throw it end zone. Likely 2 feet down. Yes! Touchdown! What a play! Going for 2 and the win are the Ravens on opening night.
The runner's toe hit out of bounds.
Oops.
It's an incomplete pass.
Oops.
The game is over. Kansas City has won.
A pass from Jackson to Isaiah Likely. What a name. Isaiah Likely comes down and literally his toe was on the line. I mean, there's no denying that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's just the toe of the cleat.
Damn the rules.
Barely.
That put the game at 27-26, and the Ravens originally signaled they were going for 2. They were going for the win on the road, as you heard.
Yeah.
Hell of a start to the season. Tonight, the Eagles and the Packers play in Brazil.
I know. Is
Why
anyone
not?
else over football yet? It was like 2 drives. As like by halftime, I'm like, I think I'm good for the season. I'm just
Really? That was it?
a little burnt out on it already.
Tap out. Number 4 on your top 5 at 6. Cover your ears, Brian's up. The Vikings do kick off Sunday in New York, and they are favored against the New York Giants. The spread right now, Vikings -1.5. Go figure. The over-under 41 points.
Bet
So
the house.
I guess they're thinking 21-20 would be a fine score for this game. Justin Jefferson is apparently taking plenty of time with Sam Darnold. He's pumping him up. He's talking about the fact that he thinks Sam Darnold, great arm strength. Jefferson says they've got an especially strong connection in the red zone during practice. And he said Darnold's throwing a lot of on-the-move darts. Here's the quote from Justin Jefferson. Those are the moneymakers there. That's somewhere we've been struggling the previous year. The plays he's making in practice will definitely transition to Sundays. And then he said he hopes that Sam Darnold has more confidence than Kirk Cousins exhibited at times. A minor swipe at Kirk.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be taking minor swipes at Sam here about week 2.
Yeah, get him to the end of the first game.
Yeah.
Sure.
Make sure you stay in his ear, JJ.
Number 3 on your top 5 at 6. Remember the whole crazy story, the Feeding Our Future trial, where they attempted to bribe a juror.
That's right.
A woman showed up at the house of a jury member and dropped off a big bag of cash, $120,000, in fact. That woman who dropped the cash off has pled guilty. She was picked up on charges, pled guilty. Oh, and then it turned out she actually was given $200,000. She pocketed 80 of it herself before trying to bribe the juror with
hilarious.
120.
I mean, it's just taking the vig, taking a little off the top.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a surprise. The person who says, yeah, I'll go try to bribe a juror during a trial is going to take a little off the top.
think he could have trusted her.
You think one person was behind this? I'm guessing she's making a lot more money by pleading guilty, doing a little time, and going to get a big grocery bag full of money when she gets out.
She is definitely taking the hit for several others. Number 2 on your top 5 at 6. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency has figured out what caused a massive fish kill at Duluth's Tisher Creek. Earlier in the summer, they found about 250 dead fish up there, and they were like, well, this is unusual. Oh, that's because the city poured 1.7 million gallons of chloraminated water into the stream.
Whoops.
Chloramine is a combination of chlorine and ammonia that's used to disinfect drinking water and kill germs. They put a little too much in the stream, and, that'll happen.
Yeah, they're making fish every day.
Take it easy on the fish you catch at Tisher Creek. Finally, number 1 on your top 5 at 6. OMF. Oh, my Wait. Oh, no, sorry. Outlaw Music Festival. That's what that means. Tonight in Somerset, Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp. I'm looking forward to that show because I will be in attendance. I am thrilled to see Willie Nelson. It's been a long time. I was thinking like, well, man, I've seen him. It's been like 20 years since I've actually been at a Willie gig. Bob Dylan, saw him a couple years ago. Mellencamp, not since the 90s. So it's going to be a good night for me.
Yeah.
And for Rosemary, and I'm looking forward to it. And if you're out there at the gig and you see a big galoot walking around with a grin on his face, come say hi. I look very forward to that. Hey, good morning, Plymouth, Minnesota, the town this is something about Plymouth.
Yeah.
You might not know. My first Vikings game as a Minnesota resident, I watched at a friend's house in Plymouth. And it was a loss to these same New York Giants.
You'll never forget it.
I'll never forget it. So there's always somebody out there in Plymouth getting ready for football season, and whoever that is, if that's you, thanks for being with us on this Friday morning. I'm excited for the weekend. I'm excited for the fact that there's a new application for robot bodies, robot technology.
Oh, goody.
Something tells me you're going to be tripping when you hear about this. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Wow, Pat. Finally in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a couple years ago. I listened to her and I'm like, what? She should have gone in first time. She's great. Pat Benatar hasn't lost a note. She's amazing.
Pat Neal. I was just remembering that song. Was that the video where she wore like the Chiquita banana outfit and did that weird knees up dance?
No, that was Love Is a Battlefield.
Oh, that's the one. That's when she jumped the shark for me. After that, I was like, no.
It got a little, the shoulder shimmy move.
Yeah, that.
and the banana dress. Yeah, I remember that. It was more like a burlap sack vibe happening. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It all comes out in the wash. The woman can sing. Hey, I don't know the last time you found yourself with a gut full of mushrooms, but hey, we've all been there.
Weeks.
Check this out. Cornell University in the U.S. and Florence University in Italy, a bunch of weirdo white lab coat wearing freaks have got together and they have built a biohybrid robot.
Yes.
It uses electrical signals from a certain type of mushroom called a king trumpet, and the mushroom then is able to move around and sense its environment. I don't even know what this means, what I'm telling you. They are putting, they have inputs like ultraviolet light, and there's different outcomes. The robot gets the mushroom to then move on its own. A video of one of the mushroom-controlled robots shows that it slowly moves across the surface by pumping its robotic legs. Listen, if this is your way of telling me that I can sit in a beanbag chair and I can just say, Siri, put mushrooms in my mouth, and some psilocybin just comes across the room and hops right in. Okay, but otherwise, what's the point? Who is sitting around thinking, how do we get some robots into these mushrooms so that a mushroom can sense its environment and move around on its own?
Some very lonely people. These are people that are not getting laid. This is why you have to lay nerds. I'm talking about men and women out there. When you meet them, lay them. Otherwise, they're just going to end up destroying humanity. So now we have, are the primates going to out-evolve us as AI and our robot overlords? Of course, now we have the mushroom robots.
Oh, yeah.
The cyber robots might take us all out.
Oh, my God.
Before we have the chance to do it ourselves.
They had a different experiment where they put an artificial worm brain inside of a Lego robot, and it was able to recreate the creature's movements and intentions.
Now they're just showing off.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah. You can make a mushroom dance.
You can make a mushroom dance. You can get a Lego robot. You can be in touch with its movements and intentions. And we can't get those damned astronauts back.
Do we really want them back?
Hey, speaking of mushrooms, how about this? There's a new study that also says, hold on, this is going to freak you out. People who use marijuana are more likely to miss work.
What?
Yeah. People who smoke weed once or twice a month are 57% more likely to skip work than non-users. There are literally people who have studies funded to tell us this information.
That's right.
Got it. Yeah.
And when they're at work, they're not really at work, if you know what I mean.
No, of course not. Of course not. So just to recap, stoners are a little bit more likely to take a day, and mushrooms now have are robotically, what's the word? Aware? Sentient? I don't know. A mushroom can literally move itself now. So
I knew it.
It's pretty much. I mean, I thought
You don't have to take mushrooms to see a mushroom dance.
Right, well, apparently not.
Well, that's kind of a bummer.
The joke.
I'd say take the mushrooms anyway.
All right, noted.
I feel like Charlton Heston, just looking at the Statue of Liberty and recognizing that it's all over at the end of Planet of the Apes. You know what I mean?
Damn you all to hell.
Damn you all to hell. But it's either that or Soylent Green is people. I'm not sure.
Oh, Soylent Green is people. No one could deliver a line like Chuck.
Not sure which way I want to go with this one, but anyway, like I say, there's also that. I mean, the idea of mushrooms being able to move on their own.
Yeah,
it's what's that? Is that Austin Powers? Get in my belly. If it's not going to make it easier to eat or trip, then what's the point?
Yeah, dance that burger right into my mouth. I hate that I have to go to the burger or the pizza to eat it. Why can't it come to me?
Man, no kidding.
Soylent Green is people!
There you go.
Man, you had that other one.
Soylent Green is people. And that mushroom's doing wow, it looks like it's doing the Charleston. What the hell's happening over here? Hey, you can join Ryder for the 34th annual St. Croix Valley Riders Chili Feed this Saturday. That's tomorrow from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the Gaslight Bar and Grill in Ellsworth, Wisconsin. We will have a chance to win tickets to Iron Maiden along with KQ swag. For more info, check out 92kqrs.com. Right on, Ryder. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm stoked. The party starts tonight. I'll be out there tomorrow night. Find me if you've got a good drunk adult little kid story. We'll get those taken care of. And yeah, stoked to be out there. It's going to be a lot of trouble and a lot of fun.
That is that's worth looking forward to.
You'll see a lot of drunk misbehaving out there.
Yeah, I figure we're going to have to make up some stories on site. So, should be good to go.
Let's look back. Oh, I'll tell you some things, damn it. On this day in 1976, Steve Yeager, catcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, standing in the on-deck circle as his teammate, the other Bill Russell, is leading off an inning. Bill Russell smacks a grounder towards third. His bat breaks. A chunk of the bat flies into Steve Yeager's throat.
Oh, yeah.
He goes down, they said, as if he were struck by a bullet. Teammates and Dodgers trainers rush onto the field. Steve Garvey, his teammate, covers him with a towel because there's so much blood. The stadium's freaking out. They pull a big splinter out of his throat. 9 other splinters remain in a 3-inch deep wound in the man's throat.
Damn.
He is taken to the hospital. He never loses consciousness. The doctor said that he was, eighth of an inch away from the nerve column that controls feeling in the hands and arms. It was also very close to his windpipe and grazed a major artery.
Wow. I mean, doctors
literally
always say there's an eighth of an inch from a catastrophe. Thank God I was born.
Miraculous recovery.
That's why Major League Baseball switched to aluminum bats?
That's exactly, something like that.
I had no idea why that happened.
He was in the hospital for 4 days. 3 weeks later, he was back on the field.
No.
Yeah, seriously. You can't keep Yeager. His
with
name's
one of those
Yeager.
football neck rolls?
Yeah.
Did he have one of those
Well,
on?
they did develop, for catchers anyway, they then added neck gear because they were like, it's amazing this hasn't happened to He was in the on-deck circle, but for catchers, they were like, well, how has this never happened before? His last name's Yeager, so he had to live up to the family. He had to be a tough guy.
What a fun day at the ballpark.
Can you imagine?
No kidding. Just a throat bleeding out.
Speaking of fun days at the ballpark, on this day in 1995, Cal Ripken played for the 2,131st consecutive game, breaking Lou Gehrig's record. After the previous year, 1994, the work stoppage eliminated the postseason. Major League Baseball was just thrilled to have such a feel-good story. Within a couple years of that, the feel-good story was, of course, that somehow, against all odds, Mark McGwire's testicles didn't explode as he chased Roger Maris's single-season home run record.
I mean, do we know that they didn't explode?
Actually, we don't. That's a very good point.
Sure.
Thank you.
I don't want to know.
Kind of like that Steve Yeager thing. What if that had happened while McGwire was in the on-deck circle? He falls down. They're like, oh, remember when Yeager got hit by that bat? I think McGwire's testicles just exploded. It's not steroids, though. Don't say that word.
A little piece of his testicle missed his artery by just 1/8 of an inch.
God, what a miracle.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zepp, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper. Blue Oyster Cult, originally known as, when they put the band together, their first name, Soft White Underbelly.
That's a kind of a lateral move.
A bit of a lateral move. Yeah, you always think like, what were they thinking with that name? And they're the all-time. What were they thinking with that name? And then what were they thinking with that name?
Right.
Yeah, lateral at best. They were called Soft White Underbelly. They played a gig in New York City and got a horrible review. And their manager went, "We got to change the name."
It was that bad.
He's like, "Oh, hang on, we're trying to get a record deal. We can't have that out there."
Just keep changing your name.
Yeah, Soft White Underbelly goes back to, it's a Winston Churchill reference. That's what he called Italy, the soft white underbelly of fascism, I believe, or something along those lines.
We would attack Europe through
There
Sicily and Italy, the soft white underbelly of the Axis, yes.
Man, I can hear those cowbells are coming. That was the thing. They stormed Sicily with a cowbell troop. It was crazy. It all connects in the wash. These things happen. It is Friday. Ooh, baby, thank goodness. There's a couple of really great weekends that are going to happen for some residents of Crosby, Minnesota.
Oh yeah,
probably the best weekend of their lives. Simply put, just a miracle find. What sort of crap is hitting around in your attic? Check this out. There's a guy named Caleb Baker. He owns a sports cards shop in Crosby. Crosby is known as the antique capital of Minnesota. This is, I guess you would call this an antique. Long story short, a 1961 Fleer basketball Wilt Chamberlain rookie card was discovered up in that area. A seller contacted these guys at the card store, DK's Sports Cards in Crosby. He said, "Hey, my parents owned a grocery store when I was growing up. My brother and I had a bunch of cards, and we stuffed them into a cabinet or a drawer in this grocery store. And one day our dad said that he had found them and burned them. They're gone, long
That's what
gone."
parents do. Yeah, burn memorabilia, things from your past.
60 years later, digging through this store, they come across a pack of cards, unopened. They're like, "Whoa, this is crazy."
Yeah.
They pick up a card. They see that it's a Wilt Chamberlain rookie card. They take it down to Florida to a company that grades trading cards.
Yeah.
There's a grading scale that goes as high as 10. You rarely ever see anything that's a 10 that's of value. You'll see like a Billy Ripken 10, but you don't see a Cal Ripken 10, if you catch my drift. Like a card, it's just harder to find a perfectly graded card of a player you've ever heard
No,
of.
it saves them. We play with our cards, or baseball cards, football cards when we were kids. We goof around with them. Yeah. Trade them.
Long story short, they get it in. The guys in Boca Raton say, "Yo, this is a scale of a 10. We have a buyer who wants to buy this from you." The offer came in $1.7 million.
Yikes.
The highest vintage basketball card sale of all time.
Yahtzee! Yeah, that's a winner right there.
If it had been graded at an 8, it would have been 40 to 50 grand. A 9, more than that. A 10, $1.7 million.
That's a big one. And someone bought that. Someone just has enough cash laying around. I'm going to take that. I'm going to put it in my drawer. Well, you'll frame it and you'll hang it up. And there he is, Wilt Chamberlain.
So Wilt Chamberlain famously said he slept with 20,000 women.
Yeah, and half of them were consensual.
So that's let's hope that is $85 per woman bedded. $1.7 million. That's a heck of a stat right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, he led the league in assists that one year, led the league in scoring that one year, and then $85 per lay apparently on a card all these years later. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's a life changer right there. $1.7 million, and it's brothers. You said 2 of them.
Yeah.
They'll fight for the rest of their lives for that until it's all squandered and gone.
That's not enough to share. 1.7 is not enough to spread the wealth between 2 dudes who live in Crosby.
Yeah, right. Know anything about brothers?
I don't have
greedy
one.
Greedy bastards.
The government do take a bite.
Yeah. Government's going to take a bite, and then lawyers, because they'll fight each other in court. I found it. No, I found it. No, it's my card. No, it's my card.
1.7 for a basketball card, the highest price ever. still got a long way to go to catch the sweet Caporal Honus Wagner 1910 card that sold for $6.6 million 3 years ago. There's a Babe Ruth that has gone for $6 million. There's a Mickey Mantle card that sold for $5.2 million. So, yeah, 1.7 is nothing to sneeze at, but it's still a baseball card world. Baseball card traders world.
I suppose it was an investment for whoever bought it. They'll just stick it on the shelf, like, in the cabinet, in the trophy case, as it were, and it'll just continue to appreciate. And
what if they put it in the spoke of their bike?
I would applaud them for that. That's what I would do if I was a billionaire. Buy all this collectible stuff and then just trash it.
Because you can.
I found a flannel shirt in the attic of my grandparents' place when they were moving out, and Pappy had passed away, and Grandma was going into an old folks' home, and we're cleaning that out. I found a flannel shirt still in the wrapper, and a pair of Levi's jeans, pre-World War II.
No way.
Yeah, both pre-World War II. It was a Carhartt flannel. Didn't know they went back that far, but apparently they go back to the 19th century, and a pair of Levi's. rivets and the whole thing, the big, wide,
your size?
pants. Well, so the flannel was my size, so I threw it in the wash. And because I didn't know there was any value on that crap. I'm like, it's Pappy with his old clothes. And so I threw it in the wash, and it shrunk down to the size of about a 10-year-old boy's shirt.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Good.
So I gave that to the...
So it's a face cloth.
Yeah, I gave that to the neighbor kid, put on the Levi's, but apparently Grandpa was 18 inches shorter than me. So I just cut him off into cutoffs. But someone said years later, you idiot.
Yeah,
pre-World War II?
The Levi's were worth money, weren't they?
Yeah, they even said the old flannel was, too.
You took pre-World War II Levi's and turned them into jorts?
Yes.
That's what you're telling me?
I did.
Wow.
Cut-offs. I don't even have them anymore. I don't even know what happened to them. I think some chick stole them.
Man, I thought you were going to say you found a flannel in someone's attic, and then they were like, yeah, there was that one summer we had that field hand named Kurt, and he left it behind, and it was Kurt Cobain's first flannel. No, you're going back a little farther.
I thought maybe there was something in a pocket.
No, it wasn't. Other than that, so don't wash those old flannels. They really shrink up. Or dry them, I guess.
Good to know.
That was the thing. Supposed to put the clothespins on and hang them outside.
It's worth looking in your attics and your basements and your closets. I'm not suggesting any of us are hoarders, but I mean like professional hoarders, like the ones you see on TV, the extreme hoarders. But we've all got crap that we've forgotten about. You know what I mean? In our houses, in our storage lockers somewhere. And to your point, clothing is one of those things. There's so many clothes that people have they forget about, and it's weird if you're paying attention. Certain things you would never expect. Suddenly, someone wants to put a lot of money down for that on eBay. It's good to keep up with what you got.
Yeah, it is.
It's funny. There's also like nowadays. If I could go back, just the toys, obviously we had as kids growing up, the Hot Wheels track we got in 1968.
Yeah.
The various things. You get on eBay and you just Google old toys. It's alarming how much people will pay for a toy from their childhood. Just to, I guess, look at it and be like, I remember when I still had hope.
Unopened Atari games. We've been talking about that the last couple of years. Unopened old Atari games. Especially there were some special limited edition ones that were released as they do from time to time.
Yeah.
These things are worth big bucks because the nerds have gone out and made $1 million, and now they want their old Atari games, and nostalgia has created quite a market for it. I often thought of that whole 40-year-old virgin thing. What if you just, as a young person right now, started loading up on baseball cards and toys and whatever, and then didn't know, because the key is not to open them. We trashed all our toys.
Who would have thought of that?
Wouldn't get top dollar. All of our stuff, what'd you say, a grading scale of 10? Our stuff's all a 1 or a 2.
At best,
the heads are busted off and the Hot Wheels are all nicked up and stuff like that. So, but that's the long play. Then you've got to go get a job and still work, and by the time you're retired, it's probably your kids or your grandchildren that'll cash in, and who cares about them?
No, God, no. I mean, come on. I have a friend who is a card collector. He's got a lot of sport, and he has older brothers, and they in the 60s and 70s would buy football trading cards more than baseball, but they would buy the whole league. Like they would go get every team.
Yeah.
And my buddy has like from 1956 through 74, every single Every single football card.
Like in good condition?
No tens, but all totally. They're all they're in binders. They are protected individually. He'll pull out what looks like a giant photo album, but it's just, here's the 1959 season, and it's every player. And I connected him with a guy who turned out to be a trading card now analyst and sales guy, and I connected them, and the card dude said, your buddy's sitting on millions. Yeah, literally.
Gosh.
And I was like, are you serious? He goes, yeah, no, he's well over 7 figures with that collection.
Wow.
And I was like,
cash out, man.
yeah, I'm like, well, maybe I should start house sitting that. He wouldn't notice. He's got so many, just a few here and there.
Someone replaced all my football cards with, a deck of cards, just playing cards. He wouldn't notice for a while.
These things happen.
No kidding. All right, that's why you save that stuff. My mom wasn't much of a saver. She was like, every time you'd come home, hey mom, get rid of your old fishing pole, get rid of that. So Dad would have all these farm sales, and you'd come home and all the stuff you grew up with was sold. Motorcycles, guns, fishing rods.
We had a swing set in our backyard as a kid, and like you would, and it was awesome. It was just 2 swings and like a slide, just like for a backyard of a house. And I came home one day and it was gone. And I was like, and my dad said, you've got a bicycle now. What do you want with a swing set? And I was like, I didn't know that you couldn't have both.
I wanted to swing.
He was literally like, but now you can leave. With a swing, you just go back and forth. The bicycle will replace, and I was just so blown away. So to your point, there was no saving, hanging on to things. It's like if you bagged up like the Scrabble game and it didn't come off the shelf for like a month, it was probably going to get thrown out. It was like, if we stopped using it, we've stopped using it. Yeah, not a lot of extra room in the old Gorman estate, trust me. Hey, White Bear Lake, good morning. I have spent time in White Bear Lake. I met a couple of I'm sorry, that's a scene from Fargo. That's not me at all. That's a whole Go Bears thing. But lovely area, my gosh.
Oh yeah, White Bear Lake's the best. I like it, and you find a muskie out there, and like muskie hunting. Those guys go out. It's not fishing, it's hunting, and they go out from 9 p.m. to midnight. Go out there with their headlamps on, and they go out there and catch those muskies in the middle of the night. Did it with them a couple of times, and they're just crazy. They're a different breed, those muskie hunters.
You're gonna have to give me a little bit more. First of all, when you say muskie, I think about Edmund Muskie, the politician. So we're not talking about the.
He's elusive.
We're not talking about Carter's Secretary of State. We're talking about a fish that you hunt as opposed to fish.
Big ass pike fish. You want to get like the 50-incher. That's the big one. And they say it's like takes 2,000 casts to catch a. All I did was get sore arms. I mean, you get these, these lures for the muskies are about 2 pounds. I'm not even kidding around here. I mean, there's big, heavy things, and you launch them out there as far as you can, and then you bring them in and do the old circle 8 by the boat and try to get a muskie to bite on that. But yeah, you want a 50-incher. That's the trophy. That's the one you can hang on the wall, I guess, if you want.
You can't eat them, right? They're just for mounting.
Oh, I know people. They like to smoke the hell out of them, But like I said, I never did end up getting one, so I'm still without muskie.
Man, sans muskie, they call it in France. Yeah. If you want to, if you're from White Bear Lake and you want to share a muskie story, by God, 651-989-ROCK. Let's have it.
Dan, are you out there, buddy?
I am all ears. If I'm out muskie hunting from 9 to 12, I'm going to follow that up with a couple of soda pops afterwards. And by soda pops, I mean liquor drinks. Make no mistake about it.
Liquor.
And then when I wake up and regret it, I'm going to be hungry and I'm going to need something specific. Foods you crave when you're hungover. Now science is telling us why we do what we do. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, September the 6th. I saw that E. I got excited. The Police, Roxanne right there. I remember the first time I ever heard that song, and I was like, that's a guy singing? I was young enough. I was like, really? Wow. Man, he's making it happen. But the first time I ever heard the Police's Roxanne, I'd never had a hangover. I was too young. I wasn't drinking yet.
Okay.
So I didn't know the joys of waking up and just regretting everything about your existence.
I'll never drink again.
Yep. Alcohol, as we probably all know, makes you dehydrated But that's not all it does. It depletes your body of other things. And it's funny, everybody's got a hangover cure. Everyone's got something they turn to for a hangover. If you've got something special, feel free to share it with us. 651-989-ROCK, talk and or text. Let us know what your hangover cure is. But generally speaking, a lot of us crave meat, salt, and carbs. There's an amino acid in meat that helps your liver break down the toxins from alcohol. Carbs get the blood sugar back up. I mean, there's a reason for this. Your body is actually telling you. So, like my wife and I, for years, it's real quick. Just go get a McDonald's, a quarter pounder and fries and a Coke, and then you're good to go.
Something
It seems to do
greasy.
the job.
Yeah,
the salt, you crave it because you're dehydrated. And that doesn't just mean you need water. You're low on electrolytes, and sodium is a pretty big one. So salty, I always think salty first for everything when I'm hungover. My first thought is, I can't get enough chips. I can't get enough French fries. I'm just dying for it. But meat and eggs, as I said, they have this amino acid that helps your liver break down toxic byproducts of alcohol. Those toxins are what make you feel sweaty and nauseous.
Okay.
So it's not the alcohol, it's the toxins in the alcohol. That's the justification I
So
use.
drink as much alcohol as you want, just leave out the toxins.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Toxin-free alcohol.
I'll have the toxin-free alcohol, please. Which one is that?
That's why cold pizza is just perfect.
It is good. I'll
Got
let
all
you-
the elements.
I found the hangover cure. I found it just in the last year, and I went, son of a gun, and it's any food you want. Any food laying around that has THC in it.
Oh, really?
Boom, hangover gone. But in booze school, when I was in booze school, they taught me that fresh squeezed orange juice, it can't be the pasteurized. Even the stuff that says that's simply orange, or it's 100% orange juice, it can't be pasteurized. It has to be freshly squeezed orange juice, which makes that difficult because you're not going to want to do that with a hangover. But they told me that I'm not going to make the screwdriver joke where you put the vodka in it, but if you drink freshly squeezed orange juice, it contains the same sugars, I guess, that are in alcohol. I don't really remember. I was hungover that morning at booze school. But they said that tricks your body into thinking that you're still drinking. So it gives you a little hair of the dog without the hair of the dog.
Your body's an idiot.
Mine is.
Isn't that a John Mayer song? Your body is an idiot.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Booze school?
Yeah, booze. It's court-ordered when you've misbehaved. Sometimes regarding booze, they ask you to go to booze school.
I thought you had been it was like a bartending class.
Oh,
I was literally like, really?
So you think that when you go to booze school, they're going to be like, you shouldn't drink, it's bad. You know, mom, all over again in your teenage years. But really, they taught me a lot about how to drink booze responsibly, how to be hungover responsibly.
How to get hammered more smartly and intelligently.
Right, exactly. I became a better boozer.
Did you ever take advantage of that tip? And have you ever gone with fresh squeezed orange juice to see how it made you feel?
No, because I get up and I'm super hungover. Guess what you don't have? Oranges.
Yeah, you don't
Guess
have
what
oranges
you
laying
don't
around.
want to do?
Yeah.
Squeeze them if you do have them. So, no, I haven't tried it, but that's... this guy was a professional drunk for a long time, all sobered up, and he swore by it.
Well, they do. I mean, alcohol does make your blood sugar plummet, and so that's why you crave carbs. Your carbs are you want to bring it back up. But if all you eat is carbs, that's bad because then it just plummets again later on. So you got to find some protein in there.
That's why my
apparently.
giant plate of hash browns isn't to getting the trick done, because
Not
that
on
is my
its own.
go-to.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Really?
Right? A giant plate. That's a good one.
Yeah.
With a bloody?
Well, I mean,
I don't-
that's how they get the vegetables, right?
Oh, it's boozing time.
I've mentioned it before, but the worst hangover of my life, which lasted 2 full days, all I ate for 2 days was toast with nothing on, just dry toast. It's the only thing I could imagine sitting in my system and staying there.
That's hungover, brother.
It is real hungover. That was the bottle of Jägermeister hangover. The only time I've ever had Jägermeister, and I drank a whole bottle of it.
Yikes.
My ears just started ringing when you said that.
It did me in. And it did me in. And by the way, interesting. You ever had this happen? Have you ever had a time-released drunk and hangover? Because here's my point. I must have eaten something that day or that evening. I drank so much Jägermeister, but did not feel drunk at all.
Okay.
Like, and to the point where I went to bed going, man, I'm just like barely buzzed. That stuff's not. And then I passed out, and I woke up after about 3 hours and was in hell. Like, I skipped the part where I was like, yeah, and I literally was completely lucid. I remember everything about it. And then I woke up after just a few hours, and then was for 2 full days just completely hungover.
Straight from sober to hungover.
Yeah, I missed the drunk, but I drank enough, but I somehow missed the fun part.
I wonder what's going on there.
Was it Yag and like Red Bull or some kind of energy drink, or was this old enough that it was just straight Yag?
It was straight Jägermeister, but with the occasional Beck's beer as well. It was a weird night. I never had either. It was like, let's get drunk like we're in Germany, apparently, and so we did. And man, was it problematic.
Were you drinking angry? Were you angry?
No,
were you pissed off?
I was having a great time. I was trying to be charming. There were girls there. It was fun.
Okay, all right. I just know some old guys that will just sit around and they just are angry all night and they drink a case of beer and then they wake up a little hungover and start drinking again. And I thought, did you even get drunk? Where was the happy, fun drunk part? Like, on the 8th beer to the 14th beer. But that is weird.
It was really strange. It was it's like you just walk out and you play the encore and you're like, where's the show? Where's the set? What happened? I'm covered in sweat and I didn't have any fun getting there. It was terrible.
Damn that gig.
I used to be the answer for everything in my life for years was just breakfast. I'm sorry, not cereal. I just ate cereal at any time for any reason.
Yes.
Hungover or not, or just any. There's nothing I wouldn't make me feel better than just a bowl of specific cereals. And I have referenced many times on this show my favorite, of course, buckwheats. Just the absolute. If you're going to give me one bowl of cereal for the, if you say here's your final bowl of cereal, I'm going buckwheats every time.
All right.
But as a kid, it was just literally there were so many great cereals out there. A group called Complex.com has listed the 50 best breakfast cereals of all time.
Oh, okay.
The 50 best breakfast cereals of all time. Hangover or not, this is what they're saying the 50 best are. I'm going to go right to the top of the list because I want to hate this, but I honestly can't. And it's not an old. It never showed up until the mid '80s, 1984. In fact, their number one cereal was introduced: Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
No,
I've never had a problem with Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Neither have I, but it's not the top of my list. It's not my go-to. But if that's what you have in your cupboard, I'll eat it, and then we're breaking up.
Right?
But
Okay.
I'll eat it.
All right. Honey Nut Cheerios, number 2 on the list.
Who put this list together? A communist?
Apparently so, yes. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this now.
Have they had Captain Crunch, peanut butter Captain Crunch? It better be on the list, man.
It's not in the top 20, brother. I'm sorry to say. Let me see. I can scroll down real quick and see if you got the top 50 on here, but don't hold your breath. I was a huge fan of peanut butter crunch as well. I liked Jean Lafitte's Cinnamon Crunch.
That's not a real cereal.
It was.
Is it?
They had the pirate.
In America?
Jean Lafitte's Cinnamon Crunch. You had the Quebec accent.
It didn't last long.
I grew up in South Dakota. We just had the basics, Post, Pillsbury, General Mills.
It would have lasted a long time if they had taken a look at the Gorman house. We were crushing Cinnamon Crunch. We had the peanut butter crunch, to your point. We had Vanilla Crunch, the white whale. We had Jean Lafitte's Cinnamon Crunch. Yeah. The only crunch on the top 20 here I'm looking at is number 3. Captain Crunch Crunch Berries. Yeah. Big fan.
Sure. What flavor was that Crunch Berry anyway?
Sugar.
That's right.
Straight sugar.
Red
syrup.
Sugar.
And then they also have Captain Crunch Oops All Berries, where they took the crunch out and just the berries.
Just different colors.
Also
Fruit
known
Loops.
as Tricks or Fruit Loops
It's not different
Fruity
flavors.
Pebbles. Yeah.
Nothing like that.
No.
You know what? The last cereal I bought about a month ago, just cruising down, getting lost in the grocery store like I always do. I always go to every aisle, even if I only need 2 things, because I don't know where I'm at. And I'm cruising down the cereal aisle, and there it is. Apple Jacks.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Haven't had Apple Jacks. That's got its own thing. Those little red flecks of flavor.
Flecks of flavor.
Sure. The red flex is what separates it.
Yeah.
A is for apple. J is for Jack. Think about
Cinnamon
that.
toasty apple jack.
And
All
I
those
sat
guys-
there with the box right in front of me while I ate it, too. The little maze on the back.
I
Yeah,
just
you have to stare at it.
I just picture the creatives coming in and looking at some men smoking cigarettes and wearing suits going, so the song is going to go, A is for apple, J is for Jack. And they're just like, I like it. I like it. Get a recording. Let me hear what it tastes like.
like
In
what
the
I'm
meantime,
hearing.
hand over those Terrytons.
Where's Golden Grams on that list?
I am seeing Golden Grams at number 13, Tony.
Golden Grams was, you didn't need milk.
damn.
You just need to jam your hand in the box and just grab a handful. That was
By
a
the way,
good
introduced
snack.
in 1976, which I remember. And you remember that song? Oh, those Golden Grams. Golden, honey, just a touch. The backup vocals interjecting. It's like they say that chef is a bad. Shut your mouth. It's the same vibe. Golden Grams, just a touch. It's the exact same vibe. You know, it all made sense back in the day. Number 17, Wheaties.
Ick.
I like Wheaties. You know what I love
like 'em?
though?
Really?
What Wheaties makes me think of is Product 19.
Yeah, Product 19 was
loved
better
Product
than
19.
Wheaties.
Yeah.
I used to just crush that. Yeah.
Oh, that one either. But yeah, Wheaties, let's be honest. We ate it because we thought, we bought the marketing. We're the marketing generation, Gen X. And we bought into it. We thought maybe someday we'll get a gold medal. We'll win a world championship. Have you had your Wheaties this morning? I remember when I get a little closer to those two-a-days in August,
Yeah.
I'd be thinking, oh, now I got to transition from my Frankenberry to the Wheaties.
Number 29, by the way. Sorry, Captain Crunch Peanut Butter Crunch. Number 29.
29?
Number
Not bad.
29. Number 30, my least favorite cereal of all time. And my brother Doug loved it, and I hated it. And he loved that I never was going to take the last bit. Kicks.
Ugh.
I couldn't
nothing to 'em.
stand
What?
Kicks.
No.
Air.
Styrofoam.
Oh,
Yeah,
I loved
styrofoam and
Kix.
air.
Yep.
Yeah, just
You liked Kicks?
I loved Kix. Yeah, but I like plain cereal. I'm not a sugar person.
That
so.
surprises me.
No, well, I was okay with Kicks until I found out it was actually made of cardboard, and then I just said no, I can't. I'm not doing this anymore.
Did you eat the box too, Ryder?
I mean, that's how you get a balanced breakfast.
Breezy poo.
That's part of it. You know that you are of a certain age when you. I don't know if you've ever experienced this. I have. One day, because it just makes sense, and you got to try it and make sure, and then you go, it's actually pretty good. Grape nuts. As
I
a
like
kid-
grape nuts.
As
Grandpa
a kid,
loved grape
I couldn't
nuts.
eat grape nuts, and probably in my 30s, I saw some at the store, and I was like, I'm going to try this. and for about a year, I just ate grape nuts all the time, and then I stopped, and I have never looked back.
It's wet sand.
Yeah,
it is.
but it
But
did
tasty.
the job. It did the job.
Yeah, we always had a box around. I don't know why, but we did have a box around. And inevitably, you'd run out of the good stuff because you ate it for breakfast after school. And then you might get up in the middle of the night and sneak a bowl. And eventually, you reduced to grape nuts or mom cereal Special K.
Oh, sure.
And which you would dive into.
Well,
because
if you can pinch an inch, you want to get the Special K. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah,
that's
Can
what
you
Mom-
pinch an inch?
Mom, the marketing was working. Mom was watching it. you
Yeah,
know.
that was definitely working. I associate Special K with that thing that looks like a treadmill, but you wrap a belt around you and it just vibrates the fat away.
Oh, God, yeah.
Man, it looks almost like something you'd see on the Jetsons,
Yeah,
back in the
for
day.
sure.
Yeah, I'm just standing here watching the soap operas, smoking a Terryton and getting my fat melted by this band thing around my
I believe
waist.
my mom was a Winston woman back
Winston,
in the day.
yeah. My mom didn't smoke, but the duck did. He was a Terryton man. He'd rather switch. He'd rather fight than switch.
Cookie smoked the Moors. They were the long brown ones.
Oh, the classy one.
What were they called?
Moors.
Yeah.
They were brown and they were like 120 millimeters.
Wow.
He looked like an El Capitan
120 millimeters
cigar.
of satisfaction.
Looked like a super skinny Swisher Sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow,
That was
I really coughed that one up.
there was a Swisher Sweet moment in my
Oh,
life.
yeah.
It's one summer at the 7-Eleven, going to run to the golf course to smoke we called them Squiska Squeets. Don't know why.
Swishers,
Don't
yeah,
know
they
why.
got so fashionable there for a while.
Yeah, they were. That was pretty hot. Cocoa Pebbles and Fruity Pebbles also on the mix, on the list. Have you ever gotten up and you're hungover and you go and you eat the bowl of cereal and it's like it didn't do it, and then you go make some toast and you're like that didn't do it, and you look up and you've had like 4,000 calories and you're still trying to help and it doesn't do anything.
No.
I mean, I've had that the Saturday or Sunday morning like a full smorgasbord without any assistance whatsoever. And then I finally all I needed was more sleep. I could have just gone back to sleep, but then I finally went back to sleep with 7,200 calories in my gut. Then I felt better.
So it just metastasized. What's metastasized? Anyway, it just turns right to fat.
Yeah, right. It's exactly what it does. That's exactly how that works.
Manufacturing fat while you sleep. That's the American way.
That's it. That's we're good at it. From the 50s, I didn't realize it was that old. Trix came out in 1954.
Yeah, probably a fine cereal. Just didn't, make the grade in our house, I guess.
Well, they were just for kids.
Yeah.
Tricks are for kids.
Tricks were for kids. There's some of these I'm looking at and I'm thinking, well, now you're just going to the bottom of the barrel. Shredded wheat, stop it. No,
that was Dad's shredded wheat. I remember being very excited, coming home and saying, "Dad, they now have frosted shredded wheat."
Yeah.
No
sir.
sugar. I'm like, wow,
And by the way, they did not skimp on the frosted. Frosted shredded wheat was more frost than wheat.
It was like cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went all in on that. And then suddenly it was okay. I was like, all right, I can choke this down. But he was like the shredded wheat.
How about Alpha-Bits? Remember Alpha-Bits?
Yeah, kind of boring.
Yeah, it just tasted like something else.
Yeah, don't try and shove school down my throat.
Congratulations, we can spell and are
crispy critters too. You'd think they'd be sweeter, better tasting. Right. They were kind of dull.
Oh, those cookie ones. Yeah. Cookie Crisp.
Cookie Crisp.
Yeah.
Cookie Crisp. It was just chocolate chip cookies.
Cookies, yeah. Let's
just put Chips Ahoy in a bowl and pour milk on them.
Let's just cut to the chase and put the cookies in the bowl, right?
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, let's quit trying to kid ourselves here. Nutrition, my ass.
I remember when Sugar Smacks changed their name to Honey Smacks.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were healthier.
Yeah. What's that? Sugar Smacks. That was like the rice one, right? And it was kind of...
a little ball of rice. And they had the frog.
Didn't like that one. Yeah. No.
Sugar Smacks.
It was a horse originally.
Was it
Sugar
really?
Smacks, yeah.
They had a frog going for a while.
I remember the frog, yeah.
Or maybe I'm confusing at the time I was eating Sugar Smacks, I was reading a whole lot about Frog and Toad and how they were friends. Maybe maybe the lines are getting crossed right there. All this talk does make me think I would just crush a bowl of peanut butter crunch right now.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean I would do like a salad bowl sized peanut butter crunch.
The slurping, the spoon hitting the bowl, all my favorite sounds.
Man, oof, yeah.
Then you drink the milk, right? You drank the milk?
Oh, cereal milk, you bet.
Of course.
All right, I didn't.
No, I mean that's just and in fact it was always, and milk was a premium in our house, and so you had to, sometimes you'd overdo the milk, you'd have too much left over, and it was always like you didn't want to get caught, like you had too much milk, you better slurp it quick. That's how that goes.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zepp, Tony, and Ryder on Minnesota's classic rock. 92 KQRS.
Friday, September the 6th, tonight, Somerset Amphitheater, the Outlaw Music Fest. OMG, it's the OMF. You're talking about John Mellencamp, Bob Dylan, and Willie Nelson, and I'm talking about 2 tickets sitting right here for callers 9 and 2 to compete for. Give us a call, 651-989-ROCK. Callers 9 and 2 will play a game of Tony Lee's Twisted Minds Fancy, and you will, if you win, have tickets for tonight's show. Our runner-up today is going to get a 4-pack of tickets to Heyday's Grass Drag Saturday and Sunday in North Branch. So if you get in the game, you're going away with something in your hand. Callers 9 and 2 right now, 651-989-ROCK is the way to get involved.
I mean, we can start packing it in here, and it's going to cool off before you know it. The leaves will fall off the trees.
Oh, it's a jacket night tonight over in Somerset.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, the bands won't want to come here and play anymore. We get 1 or 2 during the winter, the big shows, but now's the time to pack it in and have your fun. Heyday's Chili Feed.
Yeah, man. It's all going on, baby.
Music Festival.
Apple Valley, good morning. What's shaking down in Apple Valley?
Bogart's Entertainment Center.
Oh, yes. I almost typed in Bogart's this morning instead of Apple Valley. It was the first thing on my brain.
Huh? Yeah, it's iconic down there. We used to do the Battle of the Sexes down there at Bogart's all the time. We'd ask the women men's questions and the men women's questions. Hilarity, frivolity.
Nice. Very nice.
We'd get drunk, feelings would get hurt. Someone would inevitably stomp off the dance, because we did it out on the dance floor, stomp off the dance floor. It was usually the guys.
Well, sure.
Got a little weird about it, you know. Yeah. Don't tell me I don't know anything about women.
Oh my God, that's awesome! Yeah, if you get a guy to dance, then the lid, their sewer lid has been ripped off, and that manhole cover, the vulnerability is exposed. They're gonna blow up.
Yeah,
they're gonna blow their top. It's gonna be a nightmare. We got a couple of callers ready to rock right now. Tony, what are we doing today?
We are ready to play this lovely gem that is appropriate for what's happening this week. You get a nickname, you carry it around forever like luggage, but it can elevate your status and give you some flavor. The NFL is full of nicknames, and you get to guess at them. It's NFL nicknames. What'd you call me?
I like it. Very well played, Tony Yellow-bellied bastard Lee.
How dare you?
Wasn't that a John Candy bit on SCTV? Yellow Belly, the biggest coward in the West. Oh, that was great. All right, I like this. What'd you call me? Who is contestant number one?
Number one is the lovely Stephanie from California, who's now in Forest Lake.
Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Stephanie, who's your favorite band?
Well, because I'm traveling, I love to listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, well, you never need an excuse for a little EWF, man. You don't need reasons that we. Sorry,
I got what you've done, Stephanie.
No, I'll go with a bad Philip Bailey all day long. Favorite team in any sport, Stephanie? Who is it?
The Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, not the Minneapolis Lakers. Okay, the L.A. Lakers. Got it.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Did we lose the connection? Do we have another caller?
They were ours first.
Fun fact, Stephanie, I would have given those exact same answers when I was in 8th grade. I was obsessed with Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Lakers. Oh, so we're talking to the right person here. We're going to play a game called What'd You Call Me? Good luck, Steph.
All right,
Thank
Steph,
you.
I'm going to give you an NFL player and multiple choice, their nickname, and you choose the right one. That's how that works. First up is Deion Sanders, defensive back, now coach for Colorado. Was he known as A, Prime Time, B, Popcorn Time, or C, Jammy Time?
I'm gonna say A, Prime Time.
Prime Time.
Correct.
And also Neon Deion. Number two was Billy Johnson. Used to play for the Houston Oilers. Was he known as A, Garbanzo Face, B, Fancy Clogs, or C, White Shoes?
I'm gonna say C.
All right.
Nice.
Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Garbanzo, but looked like a bean.
Yeah.
Had a face of a bean.
Yeah. So it would be
what that
believable.
means.
The good touchdown dance. Wow, those crazy legs.
Yes.
Drove my dad crazy. We loved it.
Yeah, of course.
Number three is Tyreek Hill. Shined with the Chiefs, now a Miami Dolphin. Is he known as A, the Cheetah, B, the Squirmy Worm, or C, Crunchberry?
I'm gonna say A, the Cheetah.
Wow, Steph, you're
Rolling
rocking it.
along.
Very impressive.
It is.
Number four is a fella named Christian Okoye, large and imposing Chiefs running back. Was he known as A, the Endless Buffet, B, the Nigerian Nightmare, or C, the Throw Pillow?
I'm gonna say B.
Wow.
Steph. Got him on my fantasy team this year. I'm stoked.
I tell you what, the duality of when or was it C, the throw pillow? There's silence, and then there's that dramatic NFL music. It's a great moment every time.
I love it.
Steph, you're 4 for 4. Keep it up.
Your last one here, dear, is Carl Eller, Vikings Hall of Fame defensive end. Amazing. Was he known as A, Moose, B, Sweaty Yeti, or C, Kitten?
I'm gonna say A, Moose.
Right on. Wow, Steph.
And retirement, oddly, was known as Bad Rug.
Yeah, isn't that weird how that
Saw that.
happens?
He had like this curly, remember that brown permed thing he would wear? Sometimes it would be backwards.
Yeah. Stephanie, strong effort. 5 for 5. Couldn't have done any better.
So
It's your birthday?
Oh,
Well, then it's my
happy
birthday too, yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, you're celebrating in style. 5 for 5. Very, very well played. We're going to put you on hold for a minute, Steph. Sit back and enjoy. And I believe it's time for contestant number 2. Who have we got? Is this Cecily?
Cecily, yep.
Cecily, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your favorite band, Cecily?
Guns N' Roses.
Nice.
GNR. Favorite team, any sport?
Vikings.
Vikings. All right. They'll be it's big game Sunday. We're ready to kick it off. Let's all enjoy it. Right now, though, it's time to play Would You Call Me? So good luck to you, Cecily.
All right, Cecily. Number 1 is Jack Tatum, Oakland Raiders safety. Was he known as A, the germaphobe, B, the assassin, or C, the ventriloquist?
We'll take that
I would
answer.
say the germaphobe.
Oh, I'm sorry,
He was
Cecily.
the wicked germaphobe, wasn't he?
Oh, was he like Howie Mandel?
Oh, I'm thinking
Would
of...
he shake your hand? He'd knock your neck off, though. Wow. What the youngster yell in the background there? It sounded like fire.
I think A. I think the youngster yelled A.
Okay.
Oh, my baby in the background.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Number 2, Cecily. Micah Parsons, Dallas Cowboys edge linebacker. Is he known as A, Big Bark from the Ozark, B, Jenny from the Block, or C, 11 from Heaven?
I would say 11 from Heaven.
That is true.
You can't give yourself your own nickname.
Somebody gave him
11
that.
from heaven. Shut up.
Our buddy Randy Moss is number 3, Vikings Hall of Fame wide receiver. Of course, was he known as A, the Freak, B, Speed Trap, or C, Noodles?
Let's see. Can you repeat that?
Repeat it.
Oh, A, the Freak, B, Speed Trap, C, Noodles.
Speed Trap.
Oh,
Dipe.
I like that one.
that's a good one.
I know, kind of fast.
Sorry to say, it's not the right answer.
Nay.
Noodles.
Okay.
It wasn't.
No, it was the free. I had a drum tech named Noodles for years. Great guy.
Yeah.
His nickname was Noodles, and we were, true story, at a gig in Germany, and someone knocked on the production office door, and he poked his head in, and I was standing there. He goes, "Hello, I'm looking for Herr Noodles." Herr
That
Noodles.
sounds good. I'm hungry.
You got 2 more really quick. Number 4, Saquon Barkley. Known as A, Soul Kitchen, B, Jim,
What was that?
or sorry,
I'm sorry?
or C, Quadzilla.
Could we be professional?
Did you say
I lost
Jim?
it. I gotta stay in character.
What was the second one again?
A, Soul Kitchen, B, Jim, C, Quadzilla.
Jim.
Oh, no. Saquon to Jim? No. Oh,
That's
well.
what I'm calling him for the rest of
sorry.
the season.
Jim Barkley.
Oh, it was C, Quadzilla. He's got those big
Yeah, he
quads.
does.
Yeah. Hey, your last one is Christian McCaffrey, known as Holy Water Boy, B, Goose, or C, Run CMC.
Goose.
I'm sorry, Cecily. Run CMC, which is pretty cool.
Cecily, 1 for 5, but a true delight
Yes.
to have you with us. But listen, that's not enough to win the game. But you, as the runner-up, have a 4-pack of tickets to Heyday's Grass Drag Saturday and Sunday in North Branch. Congratulations! That means Stephanie, no surprise here, after having gone 5 for 5. Well, that is the way of the world. She's going to go right out to the Outlaw Music Festival tonight. Stephanie, have a great time.
Happy birthday.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Way to go,
Good.
Steph.
We're excited for you. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You got it, man. Right on. How exciting is that?
Right on. Boy, there's so many of these, too. We'll play this throughout the football season.
Oh, we started talking about that yesterday. We were talking about just our nicknames from days gone by.
Yeah.
And then immediately, we got into the NFL nicknames. I love this game show. So many great NFL nicknames over the years.
I think I honestly think Walter Payton's the greatest ever. Just sweetness.
Just sweet. Yeah, you're right.
Great.
Oh, I got to cross that one off now. Thanks, Steve.
I mean, Mean Joe Green nailed it.
Pretty great.
That nailed it. But I would, if I was voting, well, of course, I would vote for Mean Joe Green. No, but I think sweetness right there at the top.
It's just incredible. So perfect. I do wish, however, that there was a time when you could turn on a game and see tackle by the germaphobe.
Yeah, I know.
That was a strong. The germaphobe. I like
Jim.
that one. Or Jim.
Just Jim.
Saquon Jim Barkley coming in off the weak side.
Maybe GYM because I
was wondering if it was GYM. That would actually make a little bit more sense, right. I think. Make no mistake about it. Hey, KQ up north with Hoffman Weber Construction, October 3rd through the 6th at Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. What are you kidding? We're going to be handing out nicknames like candy. Join us for a broadcast of the KQ Morning Show, karaoke party, dinner cruise, live music, and more. Book your stay. Join us, won't you? Go to 92kqrs.com. Sponsored by, of course, Hoffman Weber Construction and Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking of a blast, Packers fans, hey, man, your season starts tonight. Packers and Eagles in Brazil.
Brazil.
Of all places. They're going to be playing at a very famous soccer, or as they call it, football stadium down there.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of a controversy. There's a little problem right now, and it all concerns the color green. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Friday morning. It is September 6th. On the KQRS Facebook page, we've got a post up. What's your favorite Vikings memory in 5 words or less? We got a lot of comments. Some people struggling with the 5 words or less part, but hey, that's okay. Fandom being what it is. Favorite Vikings memory in 5 words or less. Bruce wrote, end of the season. Wow. From Connie, Robert Smith with The Rush. Not sure which Rush that was.
Oh, he had a few of them.
He had a ton of good ones.
I don't know if The Rush. That suggests it was a big win. I don't have to... If you know, give us a 651-989-ROCK. Let us know what The Rush was. I
love the statistic he left, the record he holds, longest average length of a touchdown run in his career. Like his touchdown, if you look at every touchdown he had, they average, I think it's over 20 yards. Like he was like not the red zone guy. He was we're on the 27, and then he would break 2 tackles and score guy.
Yeah, and the NFL is so fast now. It was fast during Robert Smith's day. It's always been a bit fast. I guess maybe those... I don't know, back in the 50s and 60s, not as much. But once he got past the line of scrimmage,
forget it.
Everyone looked like a cardboard cutout. He just ran through a sea of cardboard cutouts.
That was definitely that was his bag right there for sure. I counter that with the fullback of a lot of those years, Leroy Horde.
Yeah,
who Robert said Horde had the greatest line ever. He would say. He said, if you need 1 yard, I'm going to get you 3. And if you need 5 yards, I'm going to get you 3. Absolutely love that. Here's a good one from Kevin. Diggs, sideline, touchdown, unbelievable. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a pretty good one. Moss, mooning Packers fans. Fun.
Hard to top. Definitely hard to top that one. Hit us up on the Facebook page, or if you want to call 651-989-ROCK, feel free to give us a shout. If you're a Packers fan, then you're excited about tonight's game. That's right, a Friday night game to kick off the season. The Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Green Bay Packers.
It's a great match.
At their home stadium.
They said we're gonna host you guys, but we're gonna do it at our friend's house instead of our place. Our friends in Brazil.
Great. Wow.
Sao Paulo, to be specific.
Is that really a market they want to crack down there? Brazil, I guess. Okay.
Apparently so. Check this out. They're playing in a soccer stadium. The club team where they will be, they're borrowing the stadium from a team called Corinthians.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Corinthians 16:1.
That's it. Corinthians.
Don't eat where you crap.
Is that right?
Great.
I think, I'd have to check the good book, but
Don't piss on my foot and tell me it's raining. Thessalonians. Corinthians, a Sao Paulo team for a century. Their arch rival in the same city. And by the way, Sao Paulo's huge. I mean, this is 20-something million people. There's another team called Palmeiras. They are arch rivals, bitter rivals. They literally detest each other. Palmeiras, their colors are green and white. If you are in Corinthian Stadium, you're not allowed to wear green. They tried to paint the field black 10 years ago because they hate green so much. Right. They didn't want their soccer field to be black.
All right.
Like the Brazilian Football Federation stepped in and was like, you can't have a black field. Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. The Philadelphia Eagles are the home team. Mm-hmm. The only way you're allowed to wear green in that stadium is if you are a fan or if you're playing for the visitors. So, I mean, if you're on the home team, you literally, like if you play for Corinthians, you can't wear green out to dinner.
Right.
Like it's that big a deal down there. So the Philadelphia Eagles, in an attempt to sway the Corinthian fans and let them know, hey, we love you, they're wearing black helmets, white jerseys, and black pants tonight.
Butt kissers. I hope they get their asses kicked.
The Eagles are going out and playing and not wearing a stitch of green. However, the Packers, as the visitors, they will wear the traditional white, yellow, and green jersey.
That's right.
Which is similar to the colors of Brazil's national flag. So they're like, okay, that's going to be a little better, a little more, easier to swallow.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. Think about this. You're literally playing a game and you're not wearing your own color.
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
We don't do. Here's the thing: soccer fans in the United States. There's a lot of them. I guess it's like the most popular sport in high school. More kids play soccer than any other sport. But soccer fans, they're lovable oddballs here in the United States. But over there, other places, I mean, they're like cartels.
Well,
it's dangerous, man.
If you take in most of the world, like if you think about take the NFL and the NBA and Major League and the NBA, Major League Baseball and hockey, like think about the fervor around all four of our sports. In Brazil, it's all that's just for one sport.
Yeah.
In England, it's all for one sport. In Germany, it's all for one sport.
Yeah. Well, I mean, too bad for them. Try winning a couple of wars once. Then you get to have fun at your sporting events. I'm looking at a journalist here down there in Sao Paulo. Is that how you pronounce it? Sao Paulo?
Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Yeah.
And hasn't seen his father in years because his father roots for the other club.
Yeah.
He'll often wear a green jersey. The other team's green. I won't go anywhere near him. It's been really hard on my father. Well, I think you've lived your life well. No regrets there.
I have a dear friend I met 30 years ago who lives in Sao Paulo. That's where he's from, and he is a fan of Palmeiras, the green team in Sao Paulo. And the one time I went down there, he took me to a match, and it was not against Corinthians. It was against another team, and it was a preseason game. And it rivaled like an NFL postseason game for intensity in the stadium. I was like, this is preseason. This doesn't count. And I thought, like, I'm going to get swept up there's going to be some hooliganism here. It was totally crazy. But I hear from my buddy William all the time. Anytime those two teams play, it's a matter of national concern. It's just there's just no two ways about it. So anyway, the Packers and the Eagles have just walked right into this. I love the fact that they have two teams that wear green and they're not playing at the Palmeiras Stadium. They're playing at the other team's stadium. Somebody really should have put a little more thought into that, I think. I got to think.
What are the announcers going to do? Are you going to be able to say green inside the stadium, or will that get censored?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure.
I'm
I don't know.
excited to hear an entire bleep broadcast.
Having a salad.
I think they'll probably get shot just for calling it football.
They very well might.
You can't know.
They'll be talking about old great players' nicknames, and they'll say Mean Joe Palmeiras. They won't even say green. They'll change everything there. That's going to be anyway. But more than anything, it's a great chance to see the Packers. Who, by the way, how much love are the Packers getting this year? Jordan Love came on strong at the end of the season, sure, but come on, there's no shortage of people picking them to go all the way.
Yeah, young and talented, and I know the Packers fans. are not only optimistic. Every year they get pretty fired up about it, but I've got some friends that it's all the way this year. They're going. So we'll see what they've got there. They've got those Motor City Kitties in the division. I don't think the Bears, because Caleb Williams is a rookie. I mean, he's going to probably be a damn fine, maybe one of the all-time great quarterbacks. Who knows? But probably not in his rookie year. So, you've got, and the Vikings, well, we know what's going to happen there, probably.
We have a pretty good idea. Here's another 5 words or less favorite Viking memory. Meeting Coach Uncle Bernsey twice.
Meeting Coach, I'm not going to count the words there because that's pretty cool that you got to meet Bernsey.
Yeah, that's not a bad one at all. And there's a whole lot of apparently Packers fans weighing in. Everybody likes to mention the old field goal, the old Anderson miss from early '99.
That one cuts deep.
It sure does.
And I don't know. I wasn't around, obviously, for any of the losses, the Super Bowl losses, but I feel like among the generation of Vikings fans that I know, that one cut deeper than even the Super Bowl losses. I don't know. That's a bold statement to make, but that one still hurts a lot.
I feel like it does, Tony. Super Bowl loss or the Falcons NFC Championship loss? Which do you think stings worse for folks?
Oh God, I was at the Falcons NFC Championship game, and the unbelievable silence was stunning, and people leaving the stadium just staring at the sidewalk. It was just the strangest feeling because you were so assured of victory.
Done. Yeah.
And it was so ridiculous.
I think that's worse than any of the Super Bowls because, well, it was the Falcons who were a good team that year, but they were not. I mean, it was the Vikings season.
They play them 10 times. They wax them 9 out of those 10 times, and then
they went against their strengths too. That was the famous Denny Green take a knee game.
Yeah, I know. Before
why take a knee? You got Moss.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Just playing it a little conservative with a team that wasn't at all conservative. They were 15-1 and had an incredibly high-powered offense. So,
you were in the stadium. That's tough, man.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anybody who doesn't remember it very viscerally. Like you said, that feeling, the air just leaving the building and everyone just silently filing out.
So
That's
stifled.
terrible.
I sat next to an older man who was annoyed at the noise in the stadium and was eating sliced apples, which was an odd choice at a football game. I don't know. I just remember that.
Oh, geez.
That's crazy. I watched that game in an Irish pub in Belgium, of all things.
Great.
Sitting with the band, and we're a band from Atlanta, Georgia. Right? My band at the time. We're all there, but we're all cheering for the Vikings because Robert Smith was our buddy. He was, we had hung out with Robert a lot. And none of us were actual Falcons fans. There's never been a reason to be a Falcons fan. And so we were actually cheering for the Vikings. But in this pub in Brussels, the one place we could find that was showing the game, there was a whole table of guys from Minnesota. And so only because they recognized us and they were like, oh, here comes some Falcons fans. And so we were like, that's right. We immediately we've got rivals in the bar. And so anytime, when the Vikings every time the Vikings scored, we would send over a round of beers. Like it was all good natured.
Yeah,
and then at some point we told them, we were like, hey guys, we're actually for the Vikings too. We're having fun here, trash talking each other, but because we were going to be at the Super Bowl 2 weeks later. We were playing at the Super Bowl. And we wanted to see Robert. We were like, we want to be there with the Vikings because they're going to win. They're going to be wrong. This is a historic team. So we were fully committed and invested in the Vikings. And you've never seen more just, you got to be kidding. We were in shock. And then we were consoling these poor guys, these tourists from Minneapolis who were just sideways devastated, not crying. We knew they'd wait to get back to the hotel to cry, but it was tough. It was really, really tough.
And what a fun Super Bowl that would have been. The Vikes with the Broncos that year. Don't know if they would have gone all the way, but God, that would have been fun. Kind of took the wind out of the whole Super Bowl. They're like, always going back, and the Falcons are in the Super Bowl.
I think the Vikings would have just slammed Denver that year. I didn't have any confidence in Denver. If only because they played the Falcons did they win. Anyway, all that to say, I believe we have someone on the call here on the call line.
We do. Our buddy Chief from Hudson has a Viking memory.
Chief, good morning, sir.
How you doing, Steve?
All good, brother.
I saw a 77 game there against the 49ers. We went, I had a wine sack full of tequila for humor purposes, and a fluorescent orange snowmobile suit.
Yes.
So the game's going along, people are leaving, blah blah blah. All of a sudden, we started scoring, and they had Sims security back in them days, basically retired people. And I just jumped over the fence and started Dancing with the Cheerleaders.
All right.
That'll work.
The oldsters didn't
They were
stop
getting
you.
a kick out of it. And then the security came by and said, "Get back, back, back." So I jumped over, and then they had a grandma out there, and I jumped back over again and danced one more time. Then they put 3 of them in front, so I stayed good. But,
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, it was a wild time.
That was the Tommy Kramer came in for the injured Tarkenton, right? The hero game.
Correct, yes.
Oh,
Tommy comes out. That was that
that's
2-minute
legendary
Tommy,
stuff. 2-minute Tommy, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Holy
He would
smokes.
come in,
But
he would
then-
come in and just start throwing those bombs, man.
Yeah.
And that Falcons game, we had season tickets, and I had won a lottery for Super Bowl tickets if we would have won that game and went to the Super Bowl. So I had a pair of tickets, and I was going to sell them because I couldn't afford to go down there and stuff. But I was going to get, I think it was $1,400 back then for those 2 tickets. So
I bet.
That's a lot of tequila.
yeah.
For humor purposes.
But that was it. I couldn't do it in 5 words or less, so sorry.
No, that's quite all right. That works every time. Thank you for the call, Chief. Man.
You bet. Take care. Bye.
Ooh.
See, that's it. That's the thing with the Vikes, you know. Let's that's the post here. I'm looking right at it. What's your favorite Vikings memory in 5 words or less? We fire off with a couple of memories, and then it always just
So sad.
just takes that hard, sharp turn down into the ditch to Gary Anderson.
Oh, Gary. We hardly knew ye. That's a rough one. I will say, though, and again, for everyone listening who's just like, come on, man, enough of this. Look, for 20 years, I've been a Tennessee Titans fan. I would give anything to say we lost in a Super Bowl. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they did lose. They lost. The Titans lost the Super Bowl before I was a fan, so that doesn't count. But you know, it's a. Put it this way: there's a lot of there are worse places to be and worse teams to be associated with in the Minnesota Vikings.
A lot of Hall of Famers, a lot of great teams, a lot of great games over the years, no doubt. Very entertaining club.
Yeah, no question about it. You know, and as a kid, always just a soft spot for him anyway. Before I knew one of the players, I was always like, I just loved the Viking vibe, man. It was just cool.
Yeah, I like the Steelers uniforms, of course, when I was a kid. I thought that was pretty cool. But as a kid, I mean, it was 2 uniforms, the Minnesota Vikings and the Miami Dolphins. They were just the flashiest and the coolest uniforms.
Oh, and, you know, speaking of Tommy Kramer, you know, think about football back then. Every team's backup was really good back in the day. Yeah. You know, the quarterback position was not nearly as refined to where you have to be like a chess grandmaster to play quarterback now.
Yeah.
It wasn't the way it was in the 70s and through the 80s. So your backups were, it wasn't like, if you saw your starter go down, you didn't immediately go, that's it, game's over, like you tend to do now. If you remember the Dolphins, the year they ran the table, Earl Morrall was their quarterback. It wasn't Bob Greasy. It was their backup. Did almost every one of those games.
That's right.
Completely different time, completely different sport. You know, like any sport, you look at footage from 50 years ago and you think to yourself, oh, it's changed so much. It's so much better now. But I always say in football, take any player now and put him on the field in 1974, and they're like, no, you're kidding me, right? No, I can't do no, I'm not running across the middle. What do you mean they can tackle with their head down? What? Holy crap. You watch like just highlight reels of quarterback sacks from the 70s. It's like watching UFC.
It was the 1970s when they outlawed face masking. I didn't realize that face masking was like the first game after they put a face mask on a helmet. They went, no, you can't pull them down by that.
The head slap, too.
Oh, the head slap was a big one. You're talking about Mean Joe Green.
Yeah.
He had the head slap, man.
There's a very famous sack. Terry Bradshaw has already thrown the ball, and he is picked up and dropped straight onto his head.
Yeah.
And there's not, and it's not like, oh, did the guy get thrown out of the game? They didn't even throw the flag.
No, they got him to the sideline. He had just come to, had no idea he threw a touchdown pass, I think, until after the game.
It's incredible. A very, very, very different game, to be sure. We have got football this weekend, Packers game tonight, Vikings on Sunday. It just feels just feels like our lives are making sense again. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm putting a little bit too much sun on this, but I'm in a damn good mood. Hey, speaking of good moods, this Sunday, why don't you join Lisa Miller from 2 to 4 p.m. if you are, in fact, avoiding football, starting at Twin Cities Indian Motorcycle Dealership in Rogers, then heading to Big Boar Barbecue in Hanover.
I'm telling you.
All in support of One Wild Ride, motorcycle ride with Law Tigers and Minnesota Wild's Jake Middleton. Check that out. You're hanging out with the Law Tigers and Jake Middleton from the Wild will be there. For more info and to register for the ride, check out 92kqrs.com. It is almost time for the top 5 at 9. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zep, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, September 6th. Little old band from Texas, ZZ Top right there with LaGrange. Still works.
Yeah, it's about a horror house down there in Texas, I read one time. And then they made the song.
It was about the horror house in Texas.
The best little horror house in Texas.
Oh, was it? Well, the story that I read that in Rolling Stone magazine was that it was sort of one of the hidden away gems down there because it wasn't legal. And after they made the song LaGrange, all the radio guys started going, yeah, it's about the horror house over there. And they had to shut it down.
It did lead to a lot of unwanted attention up until that point. They've been doing just fine under the radar. But, hey, man, I guess if you have a good... You ever been to a horror house, Brian?
I have been to a horror house out in Las Vegas for one of our Vegas trips. We all went out to the Bunny Ranch, a group of us, and, recorded some stuff out there. I did not partake. We took a couple of listeners, and they partook.
Wow. I walked into one. I walked in New Zealand, of all places. So I walked the promoter rep, me and a couple guys on a night off in Christchurch. And he said, do you guys want to shoot some pool? And we were like, yeah, we'll shoot some pool. And we walked in. It looked like an old Victorian house.
Yeah.
And we walked in, and it was like a salon, and there was a pool table and a bar. And we were like, this place is really cool. And we were about 2 minutes into the game of billiards, and suddenly... we all just got this weird feeling like, wait, where are we? And he goes, well, the girl's here. And we were like, dude, no, I don't want to. No. And it was just the weirdest experience to spend like 4 minutes in a place and then realize, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be seen here. I don't
wipe that pool cue down before you use it.
Yeah, it was not, we went right from a cool, weird old dive bar with a pool table to, oh no, I got to get out of here.
That was like the red light district in Amsterdam. Just had to go take a peek, right? Never as sexy as it is in your mind.
Not even close.
No, not even. It was rather sad.
But then if you're like most tourists, when you're at the red light district, you just keep on walking down alley after alley, waiting to see if it gets sadder, and it does.
It does.
And then you look up a guy just burned 3 hours. This is really sad. What the hell's going on here?
Besides, it's not terribly difficult to get a woman in Amsterdam to sleep with you. That isn't a professional. I'm just saying, it's everyone's there to have a good time.
Good to know. Good to know. Vikings memories. What's your best Viking memory in 5 words or less? We're discussing that. We're getting a lot of text messages. The KQRS Facebook post is up, and as we've mentioned several times, goodness gracious, all roads lead back to heartbreak for sure. A few of the good ones. Corey wrote the Minneapolis Miracle. That's the win over the Saints, I guess? Would that be that one?
Yeah, that was the Diggs touchdown.
Incredible. I remember that one very clearly. Scott wrote Moss at Lambeau 98 in person. That would be his rookie year at Lambeau. That would be
when he just torched them for some big ones down the field. At least a couple running away. Might have been more than that. Randy Moss, Dallas Thanksgiving game. I remember that one.
Yeah, 3 touches, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's right. He had 3 for 3 for 3 touchdowns.
Doesn't get much better than watching that guy on the field, man. I've said this a million times. Robert Smith said that during his rookie camp, Randy Moss's rookie camp, the veterans, after one day, they said, no one hazed him. And by hazing at NFL rookie camp, that means the rookies carry everyone else's luggage. You're in, go get me another water. Go get me this. You're at their beck and call.
Sing a song.
They're gonna make you sing a song in drag, whatever. It's all good, fun, team building crap.
Yeah.
And Robert Smith said the only rookie in league history that never got hazed, because on the first day on the field, all the veterans were going, You tell him to carry your luggage. I'm not telling that guy anything.
That's funny.
It's just amazing to think about how just right out of the gate, he was just on a whole nother playing field.
Right out of the gate. Well, they didn't call him the freak for nothing. He was one of one at the time.
Make no mistake about it. All right, here we are. It is 9 o'clock, so let's burn down the top 5 at 9 to get your day and your weekend started. We are off and running for this NFL season. Last night, if you missed it, the Ravens went into Kansas City, the two-time defending Chiefs. A very thrilling game, and in fact, it came down to the last play of the game. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens looking for a touchdown that would bring them to within 1 point, and then, of course, the extra point to tie or possibly go for 2 for the win. This is what it sounded like.
Down to 1 play, 5 seconds to go. Lamar trying to make magic happen, throw it end zone. Likely 2 feet down. Yes! Touchdown! What a play! Going for 2 and the win are the Ravens on opening night.
The runner's toe hit out of bounds. It's an incomplete pass. The game is over. Kansas City has won.
27-20. The Chiefs win on opening night by a toe.
By a toe. And boy, it was by a toe. That's no question about it. He comes down the back of the end zone. Isaiah Likely is the receiver for Kansas City. And it did look in real time absolutely like, oh my God, they scored and they are going to go for 2 on the road. What a cool thing to go for 2, though. Yeah. Kick the season off. And as it turned out, yes, his toe was on the back of the end zone, was out of bounds. Great way to start the season. And then tonight, of course, Packers and Eagles from Brazil.
Yeah, weird.
Oddly enough. Number 4 on your top 5 at 9 is, how about Sunday? The Vikings are playing the New York Giants, and they are favored. Every spread I've seen, Vikings right now a 1.5 point favorite on the road. If you're wondering just what kind of grease fire are the New York Giants, right? They're an underdog at home against a Vikings team led by Sam Darnold. So it remains to be seen. How, but Vegas knows what they're doing. They set these lines. It's amazing how often they get it just on right there.
The Vikings picked to finish last in their division on the road in New York.
Yeah.
Opening game.
Favored.
First game, and they're favored. Yeah, that's got to hurt for the Giants. Well, let's hope the Vikes get it done. It'd be nice to get that one win. I mean, we're all still, even those of us going, Sam Darnold, if it was going to happen for him, it would have happened by now. But you can't help but just be a little optimistic, aren't you, Tony? Thinking that, maybe Sammy Boy's got one in him.
I got all kind of warm and fuzzy, cuddly feelings.
All right,
sure happen, you do. Well, what they say in New York, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And for Sam Darnold, if you can't do it here with these weapons and with this offensive coach, with this scheme, for Sam Darnold, you're trying to turn that career around. He's in the right place. There's not a better spot for him to see if he's got what it takes than Minnesota. So here's hoping he does. Number 3 on your top 5 at 9. Crosby, Minnesota, the antique capital of Minnesota, also the trading card capital, at least for a day. Long story short, there's a store up there called DK's Sports Cards in Crosby. A couple of residents of Crosby found an old pack of basketball trading cards in their parents' store, been sitting in a cabinet untouched for 60 years. They take that thing down to some guys in Boca Raton, Florida, who grade trading cards. It comes back, it's a 10, meaning it's just like right out of the printing press. Yeah. It's a perfect condition. Wait for it. Wilt Chamberlain rookie card.
Son of a gun.
Wilt Chamberlain rookie card, untouched by human hands, apparently, all these years. This card was brought down to Florida. It was assessed, and then already a buyer was located, and these two gentlemen from Crosby have sold their card for $1.7 million.
Holy cow. Yeah. That's enough money to open that grocery store back up in Crosby. Get her going. I don't know what they're doing up. Open your own antique store. That's a life changer right there. I hope the boys now, brothers, don't fight over the money.
$1.7 million for a card that had been sitting in a shelf for 60 some odd years next to a Twinkie, which is also still edible. Go figure.
I'll give you $20 for it.
Oh, that's a bargain by any measure. Number 2 on your top 5 at 9, the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency agency has figured out what caused a pretty massive fish kill at Duluth's Tisher Creek. 250 dead fish were found over a quarter-mile stretch. That's because the city put 1.7 million gallons of chloraminated, I should say, water into the stream. They originally said we put about 500,000 gallons in there. It was 1.7. Chloramine is a combination of chlorine and ammonia. It's used to disinfect drinking water and kill germs. Not so great for places where fish are swimming, apparently.
Accidentally get into a frickin' stream. I could see where you might spill a bucket.
Yeah.
A million gallons. All right.
1.7 million gallons. The same time Chamberlain card sells for $1.7 million. Coincidence?
Wait a minute.
I think not. I think some apps are listening to each other.
Uh-huh.
I could be wrong. Finally, your number one on your top 5 at 9. Somerset tonight. The Old Man... the Outlaw Music Festival.
Farm Aid.
With a bunch of old men. John Mellencamp, Bob Dylan, and Willie Nelson over in Somerset tonight. It's going to be a big night, a great night. I'm looking forward to it. Plan to be there with Rosemary. So that's kind of cool. We say this all the time. If you can get to see these people as they're touring, and by these people I mean the guys and women we've been listening to all these years, don't pass up the chance. Willie just turned 90 for crying out loud. Bob Dylan's not that far behind him, and Mellencamp's not that far. Mellencamp's acts like the oldest of the bunch. He's just grumpy, go see as many gigs as you can, because all of our favorites, the ones we've spent our lives with, they're not going to be around forever.
3 legends for the price of 1.
Not a bad night for sure in Somerset. I'm looking very forward to it.
Are we going to be able to hotbox the entire state of Wisconsin?
You'll probably get her going out there.
Yeah. Pretty close.
Yeah, I don't know. Which way is the wind blowing? Northwest? Where do I got to be standing? Just outside it'll be going past it to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, on the KQRS Facebook post, a lot of Packers fans weighing in, of course. Hasn't missed in 2 years with a smiley face, meaning that's a reference to Gary Anderson, I imagine so. Although Ian came in with Randy Moss mooning the Packers, that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And so many of these memories for me, obviously, before I lived here, but so many of them were indelible national stories like that all the heartache we're talking about, the 98 team, that was everybody's favorite team in America. I should say that was everybody's second favorite team. You have your team, but then that year, boy, everybody was on the Vikes. They played in Tennessee the day after Christmas. You would have thought it was a Minnesota home game. It was a stadium full of people who couldn't believe we were going to see this. Did we get to see this team in person?
Yeah, the star power.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and just setting scoring records, and just the star power of that team. They had it all going on.
They certainly did. Oh, I almost forgot. I gotta get your thoughts on this, Zep. I'm gonna just shift gears completely, as they say. We've got some runaway cows. They found a new home. And this is just one of those stories you just think, oh, man, isn't this perfect? I think you're going to love this one especially. 7 years ago, 6 head of cattle escaped from a surefire trip to a slaughterhouse in St. Louis.
All right.
Check this out. They busted out. Were on the loose. They were rounded up. This is, again, 7 years ago, running through the streets of St. Louis, Missouri. Steers. They were captured, but then instead of going to the slaughterhouse, because everybody was aware of them, it made the news.
Little celebrities.
They were taken to a little place called Gentle Barn. Gentle Barn is in Dittmer, Missouri. 45 minutes outside of St. Louis, and it's a place for animals that are broken both mentally and physically, so that they can rehabilitate.
I see.
And now these cows, these steer are put to work. A little something called cow hug therapy.
Who wants to smell like a cow?
I was kind of stressed out from the day, and I went in for kind of a hug, and she wrapped her neck around me and held me. This is Chico.
What?
He's the leader. So he crashed through 3 fences and led everyone else to freedom. They have found a way to forgive and trust, and now they want to pay it forward to help others.
Oh my God.
And they're going to graze, and and meditate and live the life that all animals should live.
That they forgive you and they've learned how to heal and meditate. And
the cows are meditating?
Yeah, the cows are meditating.
Okay.
Zep, you grew up on a farm in South Dakota. That's why you got a tear coming out of your eyes.
Right, of course. Nice. I can't tell you, sort of the Underground Railroad there, I was smuggling steers and heifers off the farm onto these cow hugging operations. Best I could. I tried to liberate as many as I could. God. Hey, you know what? A few got out. You rescued them, but hey, there's room in the world for hippies. You know what I like about this story? We're doing just fine. If you're living in a country where you've got cow hugging operations out there and people think that cows are forgiving us, we're in a pretty good state. I think we're doing okay. It's not a fight for survival every day for everyone. Go out there and hug yourself a steer today.
It's definitely a sign that we're living a good life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I like
You've got that going on. I think that's...
And I'll still be able to find a burger right here on the other side of the block from where we're sitting. A juicy bluesy.
Yes.
Oh, come on. Hey, quick shout out to Midway, which is basically right in our backyard.
Yeah.
Midway, good morning. A lot of folks listening. We hear from people from the Midway area on the text line on a regular basis. Just wanted to say, yo, what's up?
Yeah. I mean, it's Midway, right? It's
right
on
there.
your way.
It's on the way.
To and fro.
You know it. To and fro. Before we can hit you, before the weekend commences, I should say, as much as we're looking forward to so many things, you got the Packers tonight, you got the Vikings on Sunday, you got Outlaw Music Fest. Check this out. A company called Flash Picks, a lot of football information they have. They've been doing some research trying to figure out the most sought-after NFL jerseys in the United States and also statewide. So they do a study. They analyze Google search volume data in each U.S. state. They look at the top 350 most high-profile players, and then they say, okay, we can tell you based on search engines and based on Google searches, the most popular jerseys in the state of Minnesota. There are two that are tied for number one.
Can I guess for number one? One of the two, I bet, is Nick Muse.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I would have guessed too.
I think he's third on the depth chart in tight ends.
I'm not seeing Nick Muse.
What about a Walter Rouse? No Walter Rouse?
Sorry, no Walter Rouse. I can tell you this, surprisingly, the third most searched jersey in the state of Minnesota, not the number one, but number 3 is Justin Jefferson. I would have thought
number 3.
I would have put my whole paycheck on him being number 1.
Yeah, I bet it's McCarthy.
No, the other JJ McCarthy is number 7 on the list. The top 2 are tied. Number 1 and number 2 with the same number are the 2 Jordans. Addison and Love.
No.
Yes, Jordan Addison of your Minnesota Vikings, Jordan Love of their Green Bay Packers are the 2 most searched jerseys in the state of Minnesota. Now, nationwide, Jordan Love is far bigger than Jordan Addison. In fact, he's close to the top of the list. Everyone loves the young quarterback. But in the state, Jordan Addison.
On the jersey.
It certainly does. Number 4 in the state of Minnesota, Travis Kelce. The Swifties are looking for jerseys, baby.
Telling you what, man. It's going to be a long season.
Number 5, Devontae Adams.
All right.
Number 6, Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears quarterback. Interesting. And then the aforementioned J.J. McCarthy. This is an odd one to me. Tied, the next 2 are the same number of searches, Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. A lot of love for some AFC quarterbacks in the state of Minnesota, apparently.
Well, Minnesota's a destination place. Quality of life. Every time there's a quality of life, we're in the top 5, top 3, whatever. People are coming here from all over the place.
But going back nationwide, the number of searches, Jordan Love actually topping this particular list for the entire U.S. And then let's see, none of the other Vikings are really near the top of the list, nationally speaking. But I thought that was pretty fascinating. Of all the Vikings, the fact that Jordan Addison is on top of the list, that's weird. I mean, maybe people just love they love high performance sports cars.
They're dog lovers.
That could be it. They love puppies and they love men who speed like they love a Lambo doing 140 in St. Paul. and if he catches a ball here or there along the way, that's good too.
Right.
Packers tonight, Vikings Sunday. We're going to be back on Monday to discuss. I'm so excited about the weekend.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.